Welcome to the Modern Way podcast, where we show you how to build a business and navigate the modern economy to build a life worth living.
So media buyers and agencies really, because if you're a media buyer for the most part, you're either doing your own thing or you're working with an agency or even a little bit sometimes in-house, but a lot of times people go out. There's a lot of people right now, a lot of people selling SMMA, a lot of people telling you that it's one of the fastest, easiest things to do. Mm-hmm. Technically, it's an easy way to start something, but it's not a simple way to scale something, right? And so there's a lot of red flags on how you should be thinking about when it comes to hiring an agency or a media buyer in general. And so we wanted to cover a few of those red flags. Rob, what do you got?
Yeah, absolutely. And so just to even give backstory, I used to work with some really big agencies back in the day for some of the big brand names that are out there. And some of the biggest parts that they had lacking was actually being able to track effectively what was working. They knew how to click buttons in the platform, but they didn't know what they were actually doing. And so there's a lot of structure with businesses and with messaging that really needs to occur. And the easiest way to spot if your media buyer actually is just a tactical button clicker or knows the dynamics of the business is if they use the buzzwords. And we've probably all heard these buzzwords, and I know I've heard it a lot, which is, hey, I'm optimizing things. And they may be optimizing multiple times a day, or that's the one thing that they're constantly saying that they're doing on every single touching call that you're doing. Just optimizing. That's a big red flag. The next one is if they give you the good old Facebook pitch, saying, oh, it has billions of data points and it knows exactly what your consumer and person that you're trying to attract is actually going to click on these ads because Facebook has all the data. While that's true, that they shouldn't be selling you on the mechanism of Facebook if you're already running the ads. Like, right. You already got it. You're already there. So if they're using that to try and lean on Facebook to not be able to give you data, that's a really, really big red flag. And then 3, a lot of times media buyers will get scrappy and they will go to launch something just because maybe the business owner or the executive or the CMO wants to go get it launched and get it up. And then they'll say, oh, I'll go ahead and adjust everything else later with my nomenclature, with my tracking, with everything. I just want to get something up. And that's kind of counterintuitive because the time that it would have taken you to set it up and launch the proper way is actually less than it would take for you to launch Scrappy and then go back and try and think of what the actual hook, angle, copy, what was the variation, like what were you actually testing? It also slows you down from being able to make those creative iterations. So those 3 red flags are typically the biggest ones that I see. If they're not able to tell you what they're doing, what's actually working, why it's working, and what they're optimizing for, that's really, really big. Second is, if they are continuously selling about the benefits of the platform, they don't know what's going on then. And then thirdly is the tracking with UTMs or different parameters or different links that we're driving traffic to. That's usually the big red flags that I see with media buyers. And I've managed dozens of media buyers over the years. And sometimes it could just be awareness and you got to coach them and train them. Or it is you got the wrong marketer on your team.
Yeah, I would add one last one before we go. If a media buyer is having a problem with you or something's happening and they go back to like, well, the clicks are good, instead of saying, listen, the clicks are good, the truth is you need to focus on X, Y, and Z, the page, the offer, the angles, the headline. They're looking at it just as a one-sided, like, I did my job. You have a button clicker, you need to fire the whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really good point that you just made, is if they're so zoned in on their own KPIs and not looking at the impact that it makes to the team, that I would say that probably reflects more on the leadership of not giving them the insight of what it is that they do. But if they do know that and then they totally just disregard it and say, hey, I'm doing good with clicks, then it's time to go, man.
100%. So that's it, guys. If anybody that you're working with right now is doing this, it's a huge red flag. You need to talk to somebody else. You need to get a second opinion. A lot of times, even internally, we'll hire other agencies to see if they can beat our control and if we can learn something else, or if we already just can see that we're smoking them. It's a great concept to always be testing yourself and testing on other people and really vetting the media buyers. A lot of really good media buyers understand funnels and lifetime value and like what's happening overall. If not, they're a button clicker and they're going to be left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that's the case, if you have button clickers, then you just got to pay them accordingly to what they do. A lot of times, if those red flags are ignored, you're overpaying for things potentially that you can get overseas, or you're just not understanding what's out there with talent. So definitely go speak to other media buyers, agencies, and go into marketing conferences to really understand what's out there, and even potentially bring that team member there if you really believe in them and they have really good track record with you. But definitely don't make those costly mistakes of accepting what you have done, because up until this point, you probably want to grow further than where you've gotten. You can't do the same processes to get where you have gotten to get to that next level. So that's the whole point.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this little creator hack that we had for you guys. Make sure you stay away from those red flags. Subscribe, join the notifications, follow us on social, and share this with a friend if you think it was valuable. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Talk soon.